the brand new 2026 model year BMW X7 M60i. The proper full-blown M motor. So this is BMW Motorsport S68. This is 8-cylinder V8 twin turbocharged, 530 horsepower, and then we have 750 Newton meters of torque. Standard features are all-wheel drive, air suspension, as well as the rear axle has the rear axle steering feature. X7 M60, and this is where I'm a bit confused, like why would not BMW add a perforated genuine leather for the second row and the third? Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to my channel Roman Rides. And today I'm starting this video in very unconventional for my channel way. So I'm starting right from the specs. That's why we are standing here in front of the hood of the BMW X7. This is 2026 model year. Yes, time just flies. It's already August 2025, but we have already got our hands on the brand new 2026 model year BMW X7 M60i. So why M60i? Recently I made a video, I'm not sure whether you already watched that or not. I made a video about about Mercedes-Benz GLS 580. This is a V8 powered engine. Why I'm trying to say BMW once again? So Mercedes-Benz GLS 580, V8 powered twin turbocharged, 500 plus horsepower. And now we're standing here at the BMW X7, and this is M60. It's also V8 powered. This is 4.4 twin turbocharged V8. So the turbochargers. But before I do say anything about the specs of these cars, the main reason why I'm standing here specifically for the X7 M60 is just to compare this with the GLS 580, which I tested just a few weeks ago. So I'm starting from the technical specs because this is something that's that usually doesn't happen just because just because the manufacturer decided to do so. They decided to put the real full-blown M engine under the hood of the civil car, civil SUV. Civil, I mean, it's not like a full-blown M car, right? So it's not X5M, like X5M, for example, competition. There is no X7M competition or just a regular X7M. But we still have the proper full-blown M motor. So this is BMW Motorsport S68. This is 8-cylinder V8 twin turbocharged, 90 degrees between the banks, and then we have 530 horsepower, and then we have 750 Newton meters of torque, connected with 8-speed automatic transmission. And you can say, Roman, what's unusual about this engine? I'd like to say that the unusual part of this engine is that this is full-blown M engine. And you see by the index of the engine. So you see the index of the engine says the code name is S68. And if you are familiar with BMW, you know that engines starting from S, it means that they were used in proper M models. But here we're standing with the non-proper M car, but still it carries the S68 full-blown proper M engine. So the reason for that, there are two reasons. First of all, BMW wants to unify the models and the engines across different models. So it's much more efficient from the budget standpoint, from financial standpoint, to produce the same engine but with different variations of the horsepower and torque. That's why. Number two, so you can create different versions off of that, right? Reason number two is emission standard. Like carbon emission standards are very strict in European Union, for example. That's why BMW came up with the mild hybrid system. So in the transmission housing, there is an electric motor which acts as a starter and generator, basically replacing starter, conventional, and generator for this model. And so all in all, we have 530 horsepower. The electric motor itself produces up to 200 horsepower and around 300 Newton meters of torque, which is just a lot. So basically it replaces the traditional start-stop system. And here we have 530 horsepower, 750 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 64.5 seconds, 8-speed automatic, the new one. Everything is the new. You may ask, like, what's the difference between the previous N63 and this S68? The difference is basically everything, starting from the nuts and bolts and finishing at everything. New turbochargers. This is the new engine the new oil sump, the new injection system, the new fuel system, these hydraulic Venice lift, variable lift in valves system, it has been changed, and now from what I heard, it's electronic Venice, while I heard from the parts department that it actually stays the same hydraulic Venice. So I'm not trying to be that, nerd, trying to dive deep into that. I'm just saying that it's completely new engine and it's full-blown M car, because M5, X5 M competition, X6 M competition, the new XM, they also have the same engine, but slightly with different, obviously with a different tune. So producing more than 600, almost 700+. The new M5, for example, also has this engine. So it's aluminum block, aluminum head, and obviously direct injection V8. So again, it's very potent, it's very powerful car, and specifically after testing and after reviewing the Mercedes-Benz GLS 580 V8, I have a question. So why would you buy this one over regular 40i? So let's dive into that. All right, now we get to the design part. So when this vehicle was refreshed back in 2022 as a 2023 model year, if I'm not mistaken, because the X7 has been manufactured since 2019. So it's it's like 6+ years already when this car first started its production here in the South Carolina plant is Spartanburg. So it's been produced since 2019 for the American market. For other markets, obviously these models produced in America for other market. So basically for the US market, we have two models. We have M60 like this one, which I'm showing right now, and we have X-Drive 40i. So I'd like to say that there is no S-Drive model for the BMW X7. They are all all-wheel drive, X-Drive, unlike X3 in the previous generation, not the new one, not the latest one, and unlike the X5, in which you can actually buy S-Drive X5. So for X7, standard features are all-wheel drive, air suspension, four-corner proper air suspension. Specifically for the M60, aside from the engine specs, this car has got a variable integral steering. So variable integral steering means that depending on speed and everything else, the amount of efforts you have to put to turn the steering wheel is different. It's variable depending on the drive mode, like sport, comfort, as well as the rear axle has the rear axle steering feature, which is basic, which is standard for the M60. I'm not sure about X7 40i. I'm not sure if that option is available, rear wheel steering, but on the M60 it is standard, same as X5 M60 V8 powered. It also has integral variable steering with the rear axle steering. On top of that, obviously it's air suspension, it's adaptive dampers at the same time, and it's double wishbone front suspension. It's multi-link in the back, all aluminum upper lower control arms and the knuckle. So BMW actually, regardless of what you think about this car, whether it's ugly or not, still under the skin of the X7 body you can find a very rigid structure based on the Claire platform, which has been in production since 2015, probably 2015. And so it's a very rigid, it's very stable, and it's very driver-focused car. Unlike Mercedes-Benz GLS, which I tested, and unfortunately, from the driver's perspective, that brings less enjoyment, less joy than driving X7, especially X7 M60. So in this video, I'm going to compare these two V8-powered huge German luxury SUVs, which both carry the price tag of well over $100,000. So let's dive into the cabin, and I will see what you have when you pay $100,000+. Now the interior of the X7 M60i 2026, obviously when you pay well over $100,000, you expect it to have natural, genuine leather. This is BMW individual, which means you have natural, actually, leather, a very, very well-refined leather. And yeah, it's super soft from the first touch. It's super soft. We'll see how it actually works and whether it's super cushy when you drive this vehicle, when you enable the massaging option and ventilation option. And obviously you have adjustable bolsters, and then you have the reclining, so it's like so-called break-in seat backs. It's very famous BMW feature starting from around 1997, first introduced in BMW 7 Series. So basically the upper part of the seat back can actually recline to the front or to the back. Obviously ventilation, heated seats, under thigh adjustable support here. So as you can see, sorry, not this one, this one. This is exactly for your bolsters. So as you can see, you can configure the seat. You have the door sills, illuminated M60i, obviously power operated, heated, and foldable mirrors, and then you can adjust the sitting position for the second row occupants, as well as massaging seats, memory, and all this stuff. Power operated trunk for sure. So let's get inside and see what's inside of this vehicle. And also you have soft closing doors feature as well. So soft closing door feature is available here. So let's remove the auto mode and max. I think 3 and 4 will be fine. So sitting in the BMW X7, you have pedal shifters for your 8-speed automatic transmission. You have basic cruise control. And when I'm saying basic cruise control, I mean that there is no like extended lane keep assist, extended semi-autopilot driving assistance, like which is available like Blue Cruise in Ford and Super Cruise and GM vehicles, for example. It's kind of like that, but it's not still on that level, for example. So back to the steering wheel. The steering wheel is really nice. Nothing against that. The BMW ID system. I know a lot of people, they think that it looks ugly. It's, you know, like tablets with no hood and all that stuff, but I think personally I like it. It's snappy, it's fast. There are a lot of different applications, you know, which obviously you are not going to necessarily use, but it's there. 360 camera working is just great. The resolution is super crisp, and yeah, it's very, very high quality. And the materials are also very high quality. I'd like to say that Mercedes-Benz was very high quality as well, but I think that BMW actually looks not too bad here. So what do you think, guys, about this interior? And we have glass controls. This is optional equipment. You have heated and cooled cup holders. This is optional equipment as well. We have natural open wood pores inlays, wood inlays here, unlike the other cars which may have this carbon fiber, lacquered carbon fiber. And then you have this additional compartment here, so you can pay something, you can put something here, not pay something here. And you have, unlike the X7, you have the M here. The illuminated L, obviously ambient lighting and all that stuff. Aside from that, you have heads-up display. Let's go to the second row. So some of the M60 models, they come with the bench seat. In our case, this is split captain chairs. Obviously, they are power operated, as you can see. No sunshades, unfortunately, but as I mentioned, we have soft closing doors. So this feature is very nice to have. I think it's come standard on X7 M60, and this is where I'm a bit confused. Like, why would not BMW add a perforated genuine leather for the second row and third row passengers? I'm not sure about that, but we have some extra pillows, and as you can see, when I fold the seat, it automatically slides forward so that you can get into the third row. Optionally, this car is equipped with 5-zone climate control, like GLS, Mercedes-Benz GLS. It's also got 580 Mercedes-Benz GLS, which I reviewed last time, and probably you've seen that or not. Probably you will see that as well. That car is also equipped with 5-zone climate control. By default, you have 4-zone climate control, but unfortunately no ventilated seats for the rear occupants. Just 4-zone climate control and heated seats, that's about it. You see the central console for additional cup holders saying X7. This looks to me like an afterthought, like complete afterthought, to be honest. But again, this is what you have for the captain chairs. And then you can hook up your tablets, for example. And you have suede headliner. This is Alcantara headliner. And I mean, the interior is very nice, is very, very comfortable. But I'd like to say that Mercedes-Benz GLS seats are more cushy. They are more comfortable. So aside from that, let's see what the trunk looks like. As you can see, it's a 3-row vehicle. So everything is power operated. You can actually lower the car by pressing this button. So we'll lower the rear part because it's got air suspension, we'll lower its rear part for easier offloading, uploading of the goods and groceries and from grocery store and stuff like that. Obviously power operated second and third row seats. And obviously you have the cargo cover, like a full-blown cargo cover, which you can put there, as you can see, and then you have like very small variant of that cargo cover when the third row is up. So we can just close that, and let's see how much it costs, and let's take it for a quick drive. So X7 M60 V8 powered, 5-zone climate control, soft closing doors, massage, ventilation. What's the price for that? So the price for this one, $123,000, 275. So which means the base price for this one, $113,000, $22,900, almost similar to the base price of the GLS 580 V8 powered. A few options like driver assistant professional package, as you can see, you can put it on pause and see. Executive package, M Sport Professional, climate control package, M Sport Pro, and a few more options. 22-inch alloy wheels brings the price to $123,275. The MPG fuel economy 18 combined 16 city 20 highway. With that in mind, the car obviously, as I mentioned, produced here in the US. Let's take it for a drive and see how it drives, and then we'll sum it up. All right, 2025, actually 2026 BMW X7 M60i. The first time I tested this vehicle was back in 2022. That was the 2023 model year, the first model year for the American market for the M60 model, the LCI, so-called LCI model. So this is my second time driving the M60 model. I test drove the regular X7 40i. So as you know, in the American market, there are two models available. Yeah, it sounds just great, but one very important thing is that this car hasn't been broken in, so the engine still requires you to drive at least 310 miles until the full power will be available. So the first time, I unfortunately did not capture that on my camera, but the first time I started this vehicle, it said, please drive at least 310 miles for the engine to be broken in. Not to be broken in, but to give you full power. So what it does right now, it actually, the ECU, the computer actually cuts the power. So you, as a driver, as a new BMW X7 M60 owner, you will not be available to actually experience the full power like from the get-go, from the shop. So the moment you have purchased this vehicle, you have to drive it at least 310 miles. So I think it's a great opportunity if you found, for example, let's say you found a great deal out of state, for example, things like that. That would be just perfect to actually take a road trip with the new X7 M60. So you will be available to familiarize with different options and features and settings of this car, obviously. So yeah, this vehicle is just great, but you have to wait. So that's the problem with these cars, with M60, because this is V8 powered, and that's another sign, not the sign, but that's another like peculiarity of this specific engine that you have to wait, because this is a full-blown M engine. It's not like before you had N63 4.4 twin turbocharged, which was available under the hood of X7 50i. Now with the 60i introduction, this is how you have to go about that. Actually waiting until this breaking in process. So I think it's absolutely worth waiting for that. It doesn't take too much time, 310 miles. Aside from that, the riding quality is a bit, I would say, even though I'm currently driving it in the comfort mode, it's on the slightly stiffer side compared to regular X7, let's say 40i, for example, because this is M60, it gets the M performance suspension, M setup, even though we are in the comfort settings right now. which means that everything in comfort, the air suspension, adaptive dampers, and all that stuff is configured to be very comfortable. So it should be cushy, but it's not, you should not compare this vehicle with Cadillac Escalade, GMC Yukon, and air suspension. Those cars are body and frame vehicles. They are like land yachts, and they lean from side to side, and so they're super cushy, again, depending on the wheel size. This one is super balanced, so I would say it's relatively comfortable, but you have to compare that. So if you're in the market, for example, you're on a fence between, let's say, a regular 40i, X7 40i, and then M60, then you have to know that this vehicle is slightly, just slightly firmer in terms of suspension setup than the 40i model, for example. Yes, they both have the air suspension. They can be equipped with adaptive dampers and all that stuff, but you have just to know that there is some kind of compromise when choosing M60. Again, I'm not saying that it is super harsh. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's like relatively on the firmer side, just a little bit. So yeah, that's about it. Other than that, the noise insulation, the cabin insulation is just great. It's unbelievable how quiet this vehicle is. It's got dual pane acoustic glass windows, the side windows, obviously the carbon trim. The sitting position, I would say it's not the most comfortable seats. I would say American cars like Cadillac, GMC, they have softer, cushier seats themselves. The cushion itself is a bit softer. This one, because it's got massaging option and ventilation, it takes some space, like literally, physically, it takes some space for those components to be placed in the seat cushion. So I also noticed that reading some comments and reading comments from actual owners of these cars, that the comfort cars, especially if they're equipped with ventilation and massage, they're not super cushy. So that's also an interesting part to know about these vehicles. Yes, it also depends on your complexity, how much you weigh, and what's your weight, the parameters, anthropological parameters, or whatever, how they call it. Sorry, maybe it's a wrong term, but you know what I'm trying to say. But overall, it's quiet, it's super smooth in terms of drivetrain, powertrain combination, and again, you have to wait 310 miles until you have full power. But I would say just get another 600 miles, like get 1,000 miles, change your oil, and then you will have like full power. That would be my advice. So yeah, other than that, it's super balanced. It's very comfortable, very balanced vehicle. It's summing up 2026 BMW X7 M60. What I'd like to say, first of all, after test driving the Mercedes-Benz GLS 580 V8 powered, so it's all about status. Like, you can obviously buy the X7 for low $80,000, as well as GLS 450 for low 80s, like 85, 86, up to maybe $90,000 for the base 6-cylinder model. Obviously, if you are targeting the V8 models, obviously you have to pay at least $112,000. Again, depending on discounts and dealerships across the nation and stuff like that. So when buying this V8 powered, you have to wait until the full power mode is available, because this is proper M engine. It has to be broken in at least 310 miles, and then you can actually release the full potential, the full power. Which means it's not your regular GLS where you can, pedal to the metal from the get-go, from 0 miles. It's a proper M engine, so you have to be, cognizant about that. And it's not just, regular V8 like GM or like Chevy with GMC, something like that. This is very complicated, very, extra engineered engine, but it will actually, provide you with the joy, with the excitement of a ride, and definitely it's more driver-centric car. Is it expensive? Yes, it's super expensive, obviously. $120-something thousand. That's a lot for a car like that. And you may ask, why would you buy this one? You can buy a GMC, Yukon, Chevy, Tahoe, Nissan Armada, Infiniti QX, which has, obviously, all of them have more space than this one. The main difference in this is unibody vehicles. It's not body and frame, and it's also more for a driver. Like this car, this SUV, I should say, really brings you the joy of and excitement of the driving this vehicle, being a driver, not being, you know, chauffeured around, using a chauffeur, like actually driving it yourself. So this is where it rewards your, I don't know, your your car enthusiasm, whatever, auto enthusiasm. So again, thanks for watching. I think that between these two, between the X7 and GLS, I would actually purchase and select this one. It's a proper M car. Yes, you have to wait until the engine breaks in, but then you will be rewarded so much. And it's super powerful and it's super potent, and a lot of tuning aftermarket options for this engine specifically. But I would say there are pluses and minuses. GLS seems to be more comfortable in terms of riding comfort. This is a bit more on the firmer side. And also the GLS seats are more comfortable than these seats. And also GLS seats, they have perforation, if I'm not mistaken, for the second and third row passengers, unlike the X7. So it's up to you guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it helps you come up with a decision what SUV in this premium 3-row SUV market to buy. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Please subscribe and hit the like button.